Stafford, meanwhile, had brought Cricket to a private area where he could tell him why Eduardo's gang had turned evil. "Alright, start talking boxcars," said Stafford. "Well," said Cricket, "it all started a little over a month ago. Henry was pulling a heavy goods train towards his forest. He was going over a bridge, and the heavy train began to push him down the line. But there was trouble up ahead. Some old trees by the line were being blown by the strong winds, and they fell over and landed on the tracks. Henry saw the trees and braked hard, but the momentum of his heavy train pushed him into the trees and he came off the rails. And he slid off the tracks and came to a stop in a field several feet away. Sparks from Henry's brakes flew from his wheels and landed on the fallen trees, and they quickly began to catch fire. "Oh no," cried Henry. "Fire! Help! Somebody help me!" The news quickly reached the search and rescue center. Flynn and the fire trucks were ready to go, but Bell needed to fill up on coal. "You go ahead, Flynn," said Bell. "I'll join you once I've filled up on coal." And Flynn and the fire trucks quickly left. Flynn quickly drove off the tracks and took the road to the forest. As Flynn and the fire trucks approached the forest, there was a level crossing in front of them that they would have to go over. Unfortunately, no one knew that the crossing gates were stuck and that they wouldn't move. Flynn soon approached. He saw the gates, but didn't worry. They'll open, he said. But they didn't. The other fire trucks couldn't stop and they crashed down to the crossing as well. And soon all three fire trucks were stuck in a pile. "Oh, botheration," said Flynn. The level crossing was blocked, and the fire was spreading, and trees were starting to come down. Luckily, there was a subway tunnel nearby. Eduardo and Shorty came out and saw what was going on. They knew they had to help. Luckily, they knew that there was a hose car and a water tanker down the other line, so they quickly went to get them. The two of them soon returned with the hose car and water tanker, and they began to fight the fire. Bell soon arrived with the breakdown crane to free Flynn and the fire trucks from the crossing. She was so focused on this that she didn't see Eduardo and Shorty fighting the fire. Once Flynn and the fire trucks were out of the pile-up, they quickly hurried over to fight the remaining flames. And soon the fire was out. Everyone was relieved, but Henry was upset that a lot of his favorite trees had burned down. After the fire was put out, Proteus and Lady arrived to thank the team. "Great job, Bell and Flynn," said Proteus. "You put out the fire before it could burn down the entire forest." "It was our pleasure," said Flynn. "That's what we're built to do, fight fires and save the day." Eduardo and Shorty were waiting, but nobody gave any thanks to them. This made them upset. They had been fighting the fire first while Flynn was stuck on the crossing waiting to be rescued. Henry would have spoken up, but he was too upset by the trees that had been destroyed in the fire. After waiting another minute or two and getting no thanks or credit, Eduardo and Shorty finally stormed off. They told the rest of us what had happened, and we decided that if we weren't going to get the credit we deserved, then we wouldn't help the heroes anymore, but rather try to destroy them. Stavrid was very cross. Well, what can we do to make you stop being bad? Well, said Cricket, I would guess the next time there's some kind of danger or something, give us the credit that we should get if we should help out. But I'm not sure if me or the rest of the guys will be helping out, but only Eduardo and Shorty might, since they had their memories erased. Meanwhile, Melody and the other coaches had brought Boxer to the Furnace Kingdom. What do you coaches want from me? Asked Boxer. Out of all the trucks you could have captured, why did it have to be me? But the coaches didn't respond. Instead, they stopped so quickly that Boxer leaned on his side and his hat with headphones fell out of his door. That, said one of the coaches, is why we captured you. What, my headphones? Yeah, we need them. You captured me and brought me all the way here just so you could take my headphones? We'll also to capture you and hold you prisoner, so there's one less truck helping the heroes. The coaches took Boxer's headphones and then Melody shunted Boxer into a shed. I get to use the headphones next, okay? Yeah, sure. I still think it's rather stupid that you mainly captured me just so you could take my headphones. Well, if you were a coach, you would understand. What do you mean? Well, Albert, our boss, doesn't give us a lot of time to listen to music. And during that little bit of time where we can listen to music, we have to share my headphones. But since we only have one pair of headphones, not all of us coaches get to listen to music during the short bit of time. I see, said Boxer. Yes, said Melody. You're so lucky to listen to music so much, and we hardly have any time to listen to music, because Albert gives us, or at least tries to give us, a lot of work to do. Well, what? Said Melody. Well, us heroes can get a lot of free time to listen to music because we're nice to others and stuff. So if you were to ever help us, then we could give you a lot of free time for music. No. Alright, fine. Be like that. Huh? Who's that? Boxer, is that you? What? Who is that? It's me, Ricky. And me, Roxanne. Ricky, Roxanne, are you guys in that other shed? Yes, it's us, and we've been trapped here for quite a while now. Boy, are we glad to see you. Only, you're trapped with us. Well, hopefully someone will come to rescue us, said Boxer. I sure hope so, said Ricky. Me too, said Roxanne. Hey, quiet, shouted Melody. I may have headphones on, but I can still hear you. It was nighttime by the time Stefano returned to the docks. At the docks, Salty and Porter were still shunting. Okay, Porter, said Salty. I'm going to refill on oil over there. While I'm doing that, can you take those 2 flatbeds of pipes and move them over to my track? Donald and Douglas will be coming into the dock soon with a stone train, and those flatbeds mustn't be in the way. "Sure thing, Salty," said Porter. So while Salty rolled over to the oil depot, Porter hopped over to the flatbeds and began to reverse with them. But then there was trouble. The points were still set against Porter since Salty had gone over to the oil depot. Porter was reversing too quickly to see them and he accidentally derailed. "Oh no," cried Porter. To make matters worse, the front wheels of the first flatbed were still on the points that Donald and Douglas were going to be coming over. "Stop!" cried Donald. But it was too late. "Ah!" cried Donald as he and Douglas slid off the rails. And their late-night stone train crashed into a heap. Goods were everywhere, but it wasn't over yet. The accident distracted Stefano, and he couldn't stop himself in time. Salty tried to reverse, but he accidentally went forward instead, and he broke through the buffers and nearly fell into the sea. But luckily, he landed on a small barge docked off to the side. And with a loud crash, Stefano missed the front of the ferry dock and accidentally crashed into the side of it, and he beached himself onto the dock side. He hit the oil depot so hard that some oil spilled onto the ground, and then some sparks from Stefano hitting the dock landed on the oil and set it on fire. "Mamma mia!" cried Stefano. He was stuck, and so were Crimson, Fiona, Scaredy, and Tara. Salty and Porter were stuck, Donald and Douglas were stuck, every one of the docks was stuck, and the fire was starting to spread. "Somebody call for help!" cried Donald. "There's no one here who can call for help," said Douglas. Or so he thought. The negatives were sleeping in a siding near the hose car and the water tanker. Just then, Timothy and Zero raced up. "Wake up, you guys," said Timothy, and he blew his whistle. "Well, what's going on?" said Negative 3. "There's a fire at Brenham Docks, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to help fight it. Are you guys with me?" "Well, it's going to be hard for me to go back to sleep, so I guess we'll help," said Negative 2. "Excellent," said Timothy. He coupled Zero up to the hose car and the water tanker, and began to hurry away quickly. But the hose on the hose car wasn't secured, and so it began to swing about as Timothy hurried down the line. The negatives quickly followed behind him. Back at Brenham Docks, the fire was still going. Tiffany had arrived and was horrified at what she saw. The fire was starting to burn at the side of Stefano. "Ow!" cried Stefano. "A little help here?" Crimson and Fiona were still stuck on top of Stefano. "Hang on, you two," said Tiffany. "I'll get you down." And she lifted up Crimson and placed him on the tracks nearby. Then she flew over and lifted up Fiona. "There we go," she said. "You two should be safe right here." "Thanks, Tiffany," said Crimson. "But Scaredy and Tara are inside Stefano." "Well," said Stefano, "my back end can open up, but then they would slide right into the water." Just then, Bulstrode pulled up. "I can try and catch them," he said. So Bulstrode moved into a good enough position. Stefano opened his back door, and Tara and Scaredy slid out. But Bulstrode wasn't big enough to hold both of them. When he slid backwards, Scaredy fell off and landed in the water. "Oh no, Scaredy!" cried Tara. Suddenly a boat pulled up next to Scaredy and lowered his crane arm down towards him. "Melvin!" cried Tara. "Don't worry," said Bulstrode. "He's with me. Melvin's on the good side now. He's rescuing Scaredy. See?" And indeed he was. "Hang on, Scaredy," said Melvin. "I'll get you over to a safe spot." Bulstrode quickly followed Melvin. "Yar, what about me, matey?" cried Salty. "I'm a little close to the fire too." Just then Captain came up and he pushed Salty over towards the shore. Just then Timothy, Zero, and the Negatives arrived at the docks, but then there was trouble. The hose car was still swinging, and it ended up hitting a stack of crates and it fell over and slid onto the other line. Timothy came to a violent stop as Zero, the water tanker, and the hose car came off the tracks. The Negatives couldn't stop in time and they ended up crashing into the wreckage, and some of them came off the rails. "Ouch," moaned the Negatives. "That hurt." -4 was still on the tracks. He tried to pull -2 and -3 back on the rails, but they tipped over and they pulled him with them. But there was more trouble about to happen. The stack of crates that Timothy had hit was wobbling dangerously and was beginning to tip. "Timothy, back up," cried -1. "You'll be trapped." Timothy backed up and Zero fell over, and then the crates fell over all over the track. "Oh no, what have I done?" cried Timothy. "My friends are derailed, and now they're trapped, and so are the others. Oh, I wanted to help, but I ended up making things worse. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" There was only one thing Timothy knew he could do. "I gotta get help," he said, "and I know just who to go to for help." And he raced away quickly. Chloe, Joey, and Zoe had reached the Furnace Kingdom and were looking for Boxer. They were doing their best to avoid coaches. But it wasn't long before they found some. "Hey man, only coaches are allowed here." "Oh, but we are coaches. Male coaches." Did Albert ever say anything about male coaches being allowed here? I thought he told you. "Well, if you're not for sure, then why don't you go look for Albert and ask him?" "Okay then, I guess we'll do that." It wasn't long before Chloe, Joey, and Zoe reached the sheds where they could see Boxer from some of the windows. 3 of the coaches were there, and they were singing songs and listening to music. "Mental wounds still screaming, driving me insane. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train." Then the male coaches pulled up. "Excuse me," they said. "Albert wanted you 3 to look for a brake van with a cracked wheel in shunting yard 13. I've never heard of such a shunting yard here in the kingdom. Then again, I've only worked here for 2 weeks, or was it 2 days? "Albert told us to stand guard here," said Melody. "Goodness, you don't want him to call you 3 useless for not doing what he asked you to do," said Chloe. "Hurry along now, shunting yard 13. Is there some confusion, friend? I try to avoid the number 13. They say it's a bad luck." Well, it's certainly proving to be bad luck for you, Mamma Mia! Oh, what's going on out there? It's okay, Boxer, you're free. Chloe, Joey, Zoe, you guys can rescue me. Yes, and we come to rescue your friends here too. Awesome, said Ricky. Now let's get out of here, said Roxanne. And all six quickly sped away. Ow! Stupid brake van just sitting on the points. What? Timothy? What are you doing here? You better get out of here before I wake everyone up. No, Zilla, please. I need your help. Why do you need my help? Because you're one of the smartest trucks I know, and you're the only one I know who can really help me out with this problem. What is it? Well, I should probably start by saying that I've been thinking for the longest time about something you said to me a while ago. And what's that? Well, you didn't actually say it to me, but you said it about me. That there's still some good in me. When did I... Oh, yeah, I remember. I was telling Paxton the story of your past along with Zero and the negatives. And I said to him at the end that I was sure there was still some good in you. You're saying that there is? Yes, because I was trying to do something nice, but I messed it up, and now there's more trouble than there already was. What were you trying to do that you messed up at? There's a fire at Brenham Docks. Me, Zero, and the negatives were bringing the hose cart, but I accidentally derailed it, and now Zero and the negatives are trapped, along with several engines and trucks. Some of those trucks are your father and brother. What? Oh no! Yes, oh no is right. We need fire engines and cranes to lift everything that's blocking the way. Okay, well, I can take care of that. I'll get some help as quick as I can. You start heading to the docks. And Timothy and Zella raced away quickly. Oi, it's starting to get warm around here, said Douglas. Just then, whistles could be heard, and Zella and Timothy hurried into the docks with Harvey and his brother Huey. Harvey and Huey quickly cleared away the crates and put Zero and the negatives back on the tracks in record time. Once they were back on the tracks, the negatives used the hose cart to fight the fire. It's gonna take more than that to put out that fire, said Tara. Don't worry, said Timothy. There's more help on the way. And he was right. Belle, Flynn, and the fire crew raced into the docks from the other side. And they quickly set to work fighting the fire. It was taking a lot of effort to put out this fire, and soon the negatives as well as Timothy had to use water from their tanks to help the hose car when the water tanker ran out of water. At last, the fire was finally extinguished. The dockside was a pretty big mess, with engines derailed, goods shattered everywhere, and trucks and other things burned and broken. But everyone was safe. There was no serious damage done to the engines or the trucks. But Stefano's front end was badly damaged from the fire. "Don't worry, Stefano," said Crimson and Fiona. "We've still got Todd's repairing water inside us. We can use that to fix you." So the negatives pushed the hose car up to Crimson and Fiona. The hose car took some water and sprayed it at Stefano, and soon his damage was repaired in the blink of an eye. Once Huey and I can get all the engines and trucks back on the rails, we can use that water to repair any more damage done to the engines and rolling stock, said Harvey. "You know what you are, Timothy?" asked Stella. "You're a hero, and so is Zero and the negatives." And then, to everyone's surprise, within the blink of an eye, Timothy, Zero, and the negatives had changed into some different colors. "Hey, what's all this?" said Melvin. "These are Timothy, Zero, and the negatives' original colors," said Huey. "For proving that they still have some good in them, they pretty much changed back to their normal colors," said Stella. Everyone was very happy, and so were Timothy, Zero, and the negatives. It was good to be good again.